Alrighty, folks, it's time for us to check in on King County, aka Seattle, Washington. What is going on in the market with inventory activity? And most importantly, what might happen if rates stay below 6% as we get ready for the spring selling season? We, of course, have this conversation with a top 1% national agent, Beth Traverso. How you doing, Beth?
Doing great. Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it. Always fun. Highlight of my week.
You are too kind. I love talking to you each and every week because you just give us the real. And you mentioned just off camera that you are extremely busy. So I'm curious what that means. Is it listings, showings, closings? What's got you busy?
Super busy. I've got a ton of pendings. It will be interesting to see how that shakes out in the numbers because I'm sure it isn't just me. But I'm
now, just so we're clear, when you say a ton of pendings, are we talking 10?
For me, it's 12, and for me, being a small,
you're one shot.
We're small and mighty on the real estate side of things, and so for us, that's a lot. So especially considering how it's been over the past, few years, which it's been a little more, even, but just to have it all, just in the last weekend, it was just one after another, which is great. So got a lot pending right now. I'll be interested to see how the February numbers take shape. We'll know that soon, but it's kind of interesting to see. There's looking at what we're seeing right now is there is more inventory, but it feels like there isn't. All the agents I talk to, like, where is the new inventory? Usually by this time we're getting a surge of sellers that started preparing their home to list after the holidays, and where is it? But yet we have these higher numbers of inventory. Like the MLS was saying, our Northwest MLS was saying that in January, we had 31% more listings than the year before.
Wow.
I think I know what it is. It's like we've got a lot of the leftover inventory still hanging around.
So you're not getting new stuff, or you're getting relistings, but you're not getting net new. Got it.
People that tried to sell last year took their homes off. In our MLS, if you're off for 60 days, you get to restart the days on market at 0.
There you go.
So it's at least 60 days off over the holidays. And now we're starting to see that coming back. And some of them are moving, but then some of them are still just kind of sitting there. Like you cannot do wish pricing. That's always been true, right? But especially true now. Like you just cannot you got to be realistic looking at what's selling, because fresh new inventory that's priced right, prepped right, marketed right, those are selling fast. And I have agents calling me. Everyone's looking for off market, because they're just not seeing what they want to see on the market. So
interesting.
People are wondering, do you have anything in this area? What about this area? We're looking for XYZ and not finding it out there. It's like the same old that's been picked over.
So let me ask you this. So again, we were just talking about supply, but I want to poke at demand a little bit. Again, demand turns on in an instant, right? Supply takes a little bit longer. You got to set up the house. You got to do all these things, but demand turns on in an instant. Does it feel like demand is picking up just because time of year? Again, spring selling season, we didn't really have one last year because of the tariff tantrum. Is that what's going on? Or does lower rates, right? We just ticked below 6% again. What's going on, Beth?
So me over on the east side, it's a different market than on the Seattle side of King County. And what I'm seeing on the east side is that we're not seeing the bidding wars this year that we saw this time last year.
Okay.
Interesting. That's a very distinct break from last year. And there's a lot of reasons we can speculate. Of course, everyone's got their individual reasons, but I am seeing buyers out there that are offering mostly on the new inventory that's priced well. The buyers are out there. We're getting good activity, but we're not seeing bidding wars very much on the east side like we were this time last year. Okay. Interestingly, where we are seeing it is on the Seattle side. And so the Seattle agents I network with, I'm hearing they are getting bidding wars there. They're doing offer review dates and bidding wars. And their price point's quite a bit lower over there too. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And on the east side, it's always been the premium prices, higher median price, closer to the 1.5 than the 900 or so on the Seattle side. Yeah. It's just a whole different thing, like different type of housing stock, different, newer. Generally, it's more like school district driven, et cetera. things like that. So
Yeah.
on the east side, more
Yeah.
tech.
The other thing that struck me in this conversation is we just saw a post from National Association of Realtor where I think it was 74% of agents sold zero, something like, I want to say it was like 92% sold less than 10 all year. And I just want to give you kudos. You got 12 pendings and it's only February. So,
Right.
you are clearly earning the moniker of a top 1% agent. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. Always feels good to be validated, right? But it's kind of what we've known. We in the broker community have known that for a long time, that there's a certain group that does a lot, and then everyone else is just kind of
Picking over,
doing what they're doing. But and I was wondering if that was new data, because I had heard that last year too, but maybe it's just more of the same. Maybe it just hasn't changed, and it still is that, because there was a lot of to do about that about a year ago, where people were saying, wow, 7 out of 10 agents sold nothing. And then of course all the people saying, well, some agents aren't doing, some agents are just admins, some agents are this, some agents are that. Like, yeah, you can spin that however you want, and it's
still terrible. It's still terrible.
It's terrible. It's just like bad. Yeah. And however, I want to give a glimmer of hope, because a bunch of people came up to me at the event, the One Rental at a Time event, asking about breaking into being a real estate agent. And I'm like, great, this is a great time to do it.
Yes, I agree.
Because honestly, there's plenty of success out there for people who are willing to do the work and do what it takes. Same as with real estate investing. If you're willing to do what it takes, you will have success in real estate investing. Same with if you're willing to do what it takes to be a great real estate agent, you will build a business. It's going to have at least 5 years of suck, just like, yes, it will. Are you going to have to do things you don't want to do and get out of your comfort zone? 100%. Are you going to have to be ready to be not paid for long stretches of time and dipping into your savings and sometimes not getting paid at all for a lot of work you do? Yes, you're going to have to be ready to do all those things, but there is success available out there for people there's plenty of it. So scarcity, I don't have a scarcity mindset, and the best agents don't either, but just, yeah, it's going to require some sacrifice, but interesting to hear that.
Yeah. When I would tell an agent, I would much rather be an agent starting in 26 than 21. Mm-hmm. I think being a real estate agent starting in 2021, you would have learned very bad habits. And frankly, you might be bankrupt by 2025. I think starting in 2026, you're going to have amazing stories. You're going to have amazing grit. And, I think 2025 will go down as the worst year ever. But 2026 hasn't started well, right? 2026 January numbers disappointed, and it's not lost on me that it did.
Yeah.
But I still believe 26 will be better than 25. But yeah, you're going to be starting at the bottom. So you should have a decade of improving sales numbers, because again, as an agent, you care about transactions. Yeah. So, I think you have a decade ahead of you where each year is slightly better than the year before. So get started, go.
Yeah. And, you just talked to those agents that started in 2008, 9, 10, during those years, that time was pretty rough too. And the people that started then, they got some grit, and they learned how, you got to find a way to make deals happen. And the people that were successful back then were the ones that knew how to navigate that market, and people will pay for professionals to help them during difficult times, because there's people that need to transact always for various reasons. And they want to work with those agents that they can see are getting it done. And so they will come to those people, and they will get the job. And that's why we're seeing this kind of rising to the top. So if you're getting started now, you also need to find ways to get the word out and market yourself, so people know that you know how to make it happen in this market, any market.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Mm-hmm. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about today, because again, you're in one of the markets, Seattle, Austin, Silicon Valley, very tech heavy, right? You got Amazon, you got Microsoft, and you got probably much more than that. But software stocks have been taking a hit. Microsoft specifically is taking a hit. Threats of AI. So I'm curious, are you seeing more or less cash buyers? Are you seeing people getting out of the stock market? I mean, what's any fear yet? Because again, last spring selling season was a dud because all the stocks collapsed. So I'm curious what you're seeing in transactions.
I'm sure there are some cases of it, but I'm just not really hearing that talk track.
Okay.
there's been a trend for a while where I haven't seen as many cash buyers as we were for a while there anyway.
Okay.
And I don't work too much in the super high end, like once you get way up there, it's going to be more cash. But
okay.
Most people, even if they can pay cash, are keeping their cash, at least a good portion of it, and using their getting a loan. They're still getting a loan. They might put half down or so, but they're still getting a loan, or they're rolling equity over from their other house they sold, that kind of thing. We're seeing a lot of that. So, and
are you seeing any supply or listings from folks that got laid off? Have you seen any of that lately?
A little, I've been getting some of that. Yes, there's some, but I wouldn't say it doesn't feel like a flood. It does not feel like a flood. But that said, our prices are down year over year on the east side. So, and I think that was some of the frothiness of the bidding wars we had last year.
That makes sense.
Because prices were getting pushed up 1 to 200,000 over list last year when there was bidding wars on the east side, and we're just not seeing the bidding wars this year. And I feel like it's just keeping steady.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So when you say prices are down on the east side, are we talking 4, 5, 6%? Are we talking double digits?
No, double digits yeah. Sorry, let me look at my cheat sheet here. I'm not that good at remembering these things, but median price east side down 16% year over year, which is
16.
Big.
That's damn near crash level. You got to break
damn near crash level.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't really feel like that on the ground, because again, it just feels like we're not getting the people pushing it up. Because last year we had people early in the year bumping it up. You get competitive. It can easily have 1.5 house can easily sell for 1.6 or 1.65. Like that can happen pretty easily. And then it kind of settled back down after the whole, what did you call it? The tariff tantrum. Everyone went, whoa. And then immediately the bidding war stopped and the prices didn't go higher. They stayed level pretty much throughout the year. It dipped a little over the summer because we always had that seasonality here. And then it just kind of, it's been flat. And then, but now people are coming on at the same, we're not going for that. We're not seeing offer review dates, and we're not seeing bidding wars. So it makes sense to me. Does that mean that there could be some impact from layoffs? Absolutely. Layoffs are probably why we're not seeing the bidding wars that we were seeing.
Yep.
There is a cooling off, and I don't think we're going to see prices skyrocket on the east side, and there's some new construction projects getting started in my area where building is very limited, extremely limited, just probably like the Bay Area. We don't get too many.
You get onesie twosies. You don't get 100. Yeah.
There's a few plats that have been in the works for years that are just getting ready to roll out. And I'm watching to see how that might impact things too. Because if you get a whole bunch of that, and they always go for the high tier, they have to, because the cost to build is outrageous. I wish they could build more middle of the road. I can tell you that the entry level and low mid tier flying off the shelf. So,
and again, that's still like $1 million, right? I mean, in your area,
anything under $1 million is considered
flying.
Bottom tier. So those are really moving really well. The mid tier is kind of struggling a little bit, and interestingly, the upper end started doing better. So. Anyway, it's an interesting market we're in. I look forward to keeping an eye on it and see where it goes and share it with you.
Yeah, I love talking to you each and every week. Again, folks, Beth is part of our school community. If you want to get a referral to a top 1% agent, she is always there for you. Beth, where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm easy to find, BethTraversogroup.com. You can see how it's spelled there on the screen, and you can Google me and find me on all the different social platforms. And in school, I am in there, and it's fun chatting with folks on that platform too.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.